Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. A little bit of a different video today. I have been really enjoying spending some time in my garden. I have been repotting and splitting my succulents and really just spending some much needed time away from social media and away from the craft room, which you know can sometimes be overwhelming when you have so many supplies and so many projects to do. I have been making little gardens in ceramic bowls, and I just wanted to share some with you here. I did share it on my Instagram, and we can come in a little bit closer and have a look. Now, I think that in gardening there is also art, so it was fun trying to pick out the plants and the height of the plants and where I was going to put everything. I also have a few little ornaments, and here's another one here. So these are two that I consider done, in that the arrangement is very pleasing and that I have ornaments to put in them. However, the rest of them don't, and although they're still beautiful in that, you know, they are in ceramic containers and the arrangement is also very pleasing, I feel like there's one missing element, which is this embellishment. And as I always say, the embellishments just, you know, finish your project off. They are the cherry on top. And so what I wanted to do is do some arting for my gardening, if that makes any sense. Now, in the November kit for Aunty Vera Scrap and Craft, we received this stamp set, as well as this pack of wooden charms. And so I thought it would be lovely to stamp these out, color them in, make them perhaps thicker, varnish them so that they are not damaged by soil and weather conditions, and then add them on as an embellishment to each of the pots that I have here. So that is my project for today. Stay tuned and I'll show you how that comes along. I am going to start off with some watercolor paper here. I buy this pad from Target and it's only like $3. Now, I wouldn't exactly call it real watercolor paper though. I would more call it mixed media paper. It's a lot thicker, but it doesn't have the bumps that watercolor paper usually has to absorb water. So I don't really watercolor on it, but it is good for stamping. So I'm reaching for my Lawn Fawn ink, and I am going to stamp a whole lot of these critters on this watercolor paper. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Koi Sakura watercolors, and I am just going to do some very basic coloring. What I do is I add the color along the edges, and then as the color fades out, I move down towards the inside of the critter, and I reapply at the edges again with the darkest color, and as it thins out, I move into the bottom. So there's kind of like a shading effect, and so the alligator you can see there, he starts off green along the outline, and then it looks like it fades into really light green towards the center of his body. The kookaburras are done really lightly. It's just a beige yellow color that I'm gonna give the bellies, and then a little bit of brown on the beak and the wings, and not much because they're such little stamped images. The platypus, pretty much the same way. I'm using a combination of the raw umber and the brown, and I'm adding one coat of the raw umber first, and then I'm shading in with the dark brown around the tail and around the outline of the platypus. The koala gets done the same way, just a quick light shade of gray, and then I go in around the edges with the dark gray, and then I feather it out into the body. For the kangaroo, I do the same thing, just a really light color all the way over the body, and then I go in with a bit of brown along the edges. I do go in a little bit later, blending in the edges, but I don't really worry that it's not so detailed. I am still learning with watercolor. After everything is colored in and dried, I'm now going to apply a thin coat of Mod Podge. This is going to go on, it's a clear dimensional product. It's going to go on to seal the little elements so that they don't absorb any wetness from the soil or any humidity from the air if they're left outdoors. So it has been 24 hours since I've applied the glossy accents to these guys, and I just wanted to show you something that happens every time I use glossy accents. Do you see how this has started to curl? So I often find that when you add glossy accents, the elements that I use start curling on themselves. And I mean, that makes sense because when you wet a paper, it obviously starts curling. Now, the problem is that when I come to straighten it out, what happens is that it cracks. So can you see what's happened here to this little kangaroo? There's a crack running all the way down this way. So that is one thing that I have a problem with a lot of the time. So I don't know if it's too thick a layer of glossy accents that I've added, or if that's just the formula of glossy accents is that once it has dried, you can't bend it. So, and once you do, it cracks. So that is just the one problem I have with adding glossy accents to stuff. So I don't know, you obviously need him to be flat because you are going to apply him to either a card or whatever you want to do, and if you just have a look here, it's just cracked in his body. So if you've encountered this in your art, let me know, and let me know if there is a way to remedy this. Other than that, these guys are so cute, and I've just been having a play with what to do with them. So I got an idea. I remembered having this dye in my stash, and so I went ahead and cut a whole lot of these little signs out of craft cardstock. So here they are, and I decided to pair them with these toothpicks to make extended signs, and I think that that's something that's gonna work a little bit better for me, and that I can just poke that in the pot, and then you've got a beautiful sign sitting there. Now that sign like that looks pretty amazing to me, and you can go ahead and add a whole lot of word dyes here, like adventure and thank you, and I've just got so many ideas. But I just want to show you how I went ahead and put this together. I've plugged in my hot glue gun, and this is what I did. So you need one strip here. I'm going to put a little bit of a blob up here and then extend the strip down to the bottom of the sign really quickly. I'm going to poke the top of the toothpick into the blob, then press this down for maybe like 5 seconds. And still, while the glue is hot, it kind of protrudes. While the glue is hot, I mold the hot glue around the toothpick so that you don't see it coming out the other side. You've always got this tail, and the tail can easily be broken away once this is dried up. So it's a really quick process. So I'll do one more time with you, and then I'll sit down and do my whole assembly. So flip it over, do a big blob here in the center to start off with, and then pull that hot glue trail down. And grab your toothpick, insert the toothpick into the blob first, then lay it down on the bottom of the signpost for like 5 seconds. And while this is warm, mold it around your toothpick. And that's done. Beautiful. Okay, so now that these are dry, let's put some of these together. I'm looking forward to this. What I've been doing while I'm waiting for these to dry, I have a whole lot of these little die cut sentiments that I have die cut, and they're just sitting here to the side. I also have these, which come from this Sizzix Hold Sizzix set. I wonder if these might be a little bit too big, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to put them on the side here. So I've cut them out. What I've also done is this Open Road clear stamp from my collection. This is a Kaiser Craft. I have stamped out this little adventure this way. So I have a few of these sitting here on the side, and I thought I'd get started. So the first one that I thought would be really cute is this one like this. So if I were to add this and then put that, I think that would be totally cute. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Move it to the side because I want to allow a little bit of room for his little tail to come down on the arrow. So I'm going to try to do it like this. How totally cute! Oh my goodness, I think that's so cute. Alright, so that one's done. Let's put that up here. I just want to show you this one that I've done. I gave that a go first to see if it would work, and it looks really good. So I'll show you how I did this one. So basically, you have the choice of either putting it to the front like this or putting it to the back, whichever way you want. So because I've put this one to the front, I'm going to try to put this one to the back. I'm going to make it so that his little butt here is supported by the top of the post. So I'm going to do one here and then one strip down the side. So let's do that. I'm just so used to hot glue now, it doesn't even hurt my fingers anymore. Alright, that is great. So that's two different ways of doing it. I do love the idea of having something on this post. So, like for example, I know these are so long, they feel so long compared to the little post, but it doesn't. So love is the smallest one there, the least amount of letters. Yeah, I don't know if that die set's gonna work. Let's just work on the kangaroo. So I was thinking just to put the kangaroo sitting on top of the post. So I'm just gonna do a strip of hot glue here and hold it till it dries. Just like so cute. I love this. This is almost as addictive as making paper clips, I think. Little toothpick elements. I've done the kookaburra, I've done the koala. What have we got left? We've got the little platypus next, and we've got the alligator. Alright, so let's... I'm thinking just as easy as this. Not this one. I think this is so awesome. This alligator is so much fun. Everyone's like scared of alligators here in Australia, and really don't see them in in everyday life. If you go out there, I'm sure you will, but he's awesome. Definitely a majestic creature. Treat it with respect. It's funny how he's giving you the with love sentiment. I think that's totally appropriate, don't you? Alright, so that's where my humor comes in. I always like, when something is feared, I always like put a spin on it so I don't scare it so much, so I'm not scared of it so much. So let's do that with Mr. Alligator. He's really the sweetest guy out there, really. You can see how I've raised my kids, right? Oh, I love him. He is such a cutie. Everything has been put onto their toothpicks, and I've put sentiments on everything. And I did end up just sticking with the Adventure This Way sign. It just kind of, it seemed to go with the theme of the Australian critters. So I really like that. So the next thing I wanted to do is just to place them in my little teacups here. So I really think that this is the cutest addition to these guys. Let's come in a little bit closer. So move that out of the way. I mean, I considered making these myself, just making tags and then putting the critters on them and putting the sentiment, and of course you can go ahead and do that, but I just decided to just stick with this. This is so sweet. I really love the characters. I think they're amazing. So you can choose this guy, you can choose this guy. So majestic. I think that's really sweet. He's like laying in wait for someone. This one, I decided to put the koala in this, so he is too cute in there, looking really good. This one here, it just looks like it's calling out for a kangaroo, doesn't it? So I'll put that in the back there, and that is perfect. I love that. I feel like this one needs a kookaburra. This one, what haven't we done? We haven't done the platypus. So I've done the platypus in two ways. One, I left the Adventure This Way, and one I cut the black around it. So two different designs. They both look really nice, so I don't mind. So I think that looks really good there. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Oh, the alligator. I think that alligator is so cute, and I love the pop of red. I really like that. Alrighty, now I have a whole lot of these guys sitting in the back that I'm gonna go and put these on. I'm gonna take some photos for you and leave some photos at the back. I hope you like this little project. I know it's something a little bit different, but we do have a lot of stamps and word dies and even word stamps, sentiment stamps that we just collect, and I think that it would be a really good idea to incorporate them into our lives. So if you put them into little pots, or like make bookmarks and make labels on your kitchen containers and stuff like that, I think that is really a great idea. And I have a whole heap of these because we're starting to fundraise for Zane's Year 6 camp. Next year Zane is in his last year of high school, and so we're fundraising for his camp costs. They're going to Canberra and Sydney, and they're really looking forward to that. So I am fundraising for Zane's Year 6 camp with my little succulent garden here. So I'll keep you informed with how that goes, and any ideas that Zane and I come up with. We thought we would do sort of like art projects together and try to sell them, and I'll see if I can get Zane to make some art, and then perhaps I'll put those up for sale if anybody is interested. All going to a very good cause. He's really excited. The current Year 6 class just got back, and they're telling the Year 5s all these stories, and Zane is super excited to go. So he came up with this idea of selling stuff, and he's now trying to sell things for 50 cents at school. It's really quite sweet. So yeah, so that's sharing a little bit of what we'll be doing over the next year. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and I'll catch you in my next video.